So I hope you understood the concept of different variables, different data types, how you can perform arithmetic operations on them, and these things. And so let's move to the further next data type, which is the lists, and we will see how to learn it. Got it? So let's move to our editor, and you can open your favorite editor. Right now, I am on my Colab. So this is here we stopped last time. So let's continue from there. So now let's talk about the lists. Lists are actually the arrays. Got it? So lists are actually the arrays. So what are the arrays basically? This means is that if you are going to store more than one value in one variable, then you have to take help of the lists. This means that if you really want to store 4, and if you also want to store, let's say, 500, and if you also want to store Talha, and if you also want to store Pakistan, and if you also want to store anything, then you have to use some another data type which allow you to do that. Got it? You can't do that in a variable A. You can't do that these things. It will definitely give you an error. Got it? So you have to take help of this. So let's remove it, and let's talk about the lists. So let's create a variable. Let's say my variable name is var list. Let's say this is my variable name, and the syntax, the way to write lists are is you have to use these full brackets, and now you can assign these things. Let's say you can say that 4, 5, 10, and you have to say talhaina string. Remember, you have to write in a string. This is the notation to use it. You have to use these double quotes, or even you can use the single quotes as well, like this. And let's say this one. So here you also need to close with single one. So this is how you can save these things, and this is your variable. You can run it, you can print it. If you want to see what are the contents in it, here are these. So, and if you want to see the type of this, got it? So you can see the type as well. Okay, it is saying this variable var underscore list has a list data type. Understood? I think so. And so let's say now you want, you don't need to save this whole. Let's say you want to okay, let me tell you in another way. If you really want to see access this this data, and if you really want to access this content in your list, then how you can do that? So this means is that this is how you can do that. You can just simply write var list, okay, type curly braces, and just directly type let's say you want to access 4, then you just need to type 0. So what is that 0? 0 is actually the index. Let me explain you in another way. Let's say this is your list, and in a memory, how it's saved is in your RAM, in your memory, the list is saved like, so lists create some indexes in your memory. So, and indexes start from 0. Indexes are kind of locations. So let's say 4 will always be present in the 0 index. Understood? 5 will always be present in the 1 index. The third element like 10 will always be present in 2 index. This talha, or the fourth element of the list, will always be present in the index 3. Understood? So if you really want to access, let's say, talha, okay, then you just need to type the list which you are going to access, and in that list which element you are going to access. Let's say you are going to access this element, then you need to type the index of it. Then you need to count 1, 2, 3, fourth. This is fourth index, but actually in memory it starts from 0. Then you need to type 3. Here is 3. Let me run it. So it gave me the ha. Got it? And this is how, if you want to access, let's say, the 5, you can just simply like the list name and the index number 0, 1. Okay, it's present in the location 1. You just need to type 1 and run it. This is how you can get that. And let's say if you have a very long list, and let's say this list has how much length? This list has 4 elements in it. This means that this list has length of 4. So how you can check how much data is present in a list? So you just need to type the len, this means length, small brackets, and the list variable name. You need to type it. So maybe you have 10 lists, you just need to talk about the list that you really want to calculate the length. You just need to write that and check, run it. Okay, it is saying me that 4. This means that this list has 4 different elements in it. This list has 4 different indexes, and every index has some data, or maybe it can be empty. Okay, so you can create an empty list. So let's say, let's talk about another list. uh, let's say my list. You can use any variable name, it doesn't matter. You can type my list like that way. Both are ways are correct. People use camel case like this, people use this approach as well, just to differentiate. So let's say you write this one, and okay, by the way, I was keep writing the code in each new line. You can write this code in the one cell as well. So let me press enter, and I can write here as well. So let's say if I print my list, so what it will say, let me run. So it is saying it's empty. So how it works is, first of all, the first line will run my list. So in the memory, my list variable will be created, but my list will be empty. So then I asked to compiler to please run this line and print it out, whatever it's present in my list. So it printed out. So now I can update my list. I can write any content in it, let's say 22.54 and 33, and 1 is empty index, and let's say I can add here uh, Pakistan. So anything I can do that. After that, I just need to print that. I can write here print my list. So my previous variable is updated now with the new data that I provided to it. So let's say I want to access this empty one. How I can do that? I can just simply type my list name, the index name, 0, 1, 2. It's present in 2 location. So it is empty. So let's say you want to access, let's say you have a data which has, you have a list which has 1000 plus elements in it. Understood? Means to says that this time you have the 4 elements in this. Let's say you have 1000 plus, and you want to access the element which is the last element of the array, let's say, and you don't know what is the length of the array and all stuff, even though you can calculate that using this length. But let's assume you don't know that. So how you can do that? You can just simply say the list name, your brackets, and you can type -1. This -1 will do is that it will print the last index in your list, last index. So it means that if you are going from left to right, then the indexes start from 0, 1, 2, 3. But if you are going to access from right to left, then you need to start from -1. Let's say you're going to access the last element, then you can say -1. If you're going to access second last element, then you need to say -2, -3, -4. Got it? So let's say I want to access this 33. How I can calculate that? -1, -2, and -3. So this will be -3. Okay, so let me write in new cell, because I have to give you that code, so that it will be clear to you. So let me run this. This will be the last one, and this will be the this 33. It should come. Okay, so means my list 33 and are my list, let me copy it, and my list 1, both are the same things, because 0, 1, this time I'm going from left to right, but in this case I am coming from right to left. So I hope you got the idea. So let's move to the next thing, which is uh, okay, so let's say you have a very long list, and let's say 2000 elements, and you want to only access the first 2 elements, or let's say first 3 elements only. So how you can do that? You don't need to do, let's say if you want to access the element, the data which is present in the 0 index, you can do that like this way. The first way is that you can do like print it for me, print my list 0. Then you can say that print my list, in my list print the one index, whatever the value is present. So it will give you the first two values. This is the first one, which is 22, and this is the second one. But let's say you need 100, first 100 elements in your list. So you need to write these 100 times? No, you don't need to do that. There is a way. You can just directly write my list, and you can just directly use this curly braces, and you can say that start from the 0 index up to the index that you really need. Let's say I will say that give me 0 to 3. I can't say that 0 to 10 because my list has maximum 4 elements. I can only access 4 elements, not more than that. So let's say I just need to access the first 3. So how I can do? Let me type 0 to 3. So I got that. So what I told to the list, I tell that give me the data which has the content from the index 0 up to the index 2. Got it? Right now I wrote here 3, but remember list always give you the one index behind the actual index. So let's say if you will say that give me the index from 0 to, give me the data from the 0 to the 3, so it will give you 0 to 2 actually. Okay, it will give you 0 to 2 actually. This is how it works. So I hope you got that. So let's say if I will say that give me 0 to 4, so what you will say? Okay, so it printed out the index 0 1 2 3, total 4 values 0 1 2 3. Okay, but not the fourth index. So whatever will be present in the fourth index, it will not be retrieved. So let's say if I will tell him let me write here. So let's say if I ask to it like 0 to 5, what it will say? So it exactly printed out. So I think I was wrong previously. So if you really have a list which has maximum 4 elements, but still if you write here 1000, still it will give you the output. It will automatically understood that you need the all elements because maximum length is 4. So it printed out for you, but ignore that, you have to be actual reality. So let's say if you want to extract the in between element, these two, so how you can do that? You can do that 0 1. So it's the 1 index, starting from 1 index up to the 2 index. But if I want to access the 2 index, then I need to give the value here 3. Okay, I need to give the, because it gives 1 behind. So this is how it works. And this approach you can do same with from right to left side, from -1 to, you can say that give me the values from -1 starting up to the -3, and you can do that from that side as well. So this is all about the list, but not all about, there are few things, and let's talk about those quickly. So let's say you have the data, my list. Let's see how my list is look like. My list, this is my list. So in my list, let's say I want to add a city name. Let's say I want to add a city name in this list, or either I want to add any value in that list. How I can do that? So there is a way you can do that. My list dot append, this is a function that is provided. So dot append, you can write anything that you want to append in this data. Let's say you want to append any city name. Let's say you will say that Islamabad. So let me run this. Okay, it ran. Now I need to print my list. So you see this time I have Islamabad in my list at the end. Got it? So this is how it works. And if you want to replace some data, let's say you want to write something here, instead of Pakistan you want to write any other country name, or instead of Islamabad 33, you can update that. You just need to write here my list, and write the index name that you want to update. In my case, let's say I have this empty string and I want to write something here. So at which location, at which index it's present, I need to access it. Let's say it's present in 0 index, 0 1 2. It's in second index. I need to write is equal to and write any value that you want to replace with that. Let's say I can say right here Lahore. Okay, it ran. Now let me print my list. See, this time Lahore is updated with this empty string, and this is how you can update your string. You can even delete them. You can also perform many other operations, like you can remove any item from your list, any element. Let's say I will give you an example. um, let's say my list dot pop. Let's say what it will be done is, if you really want to remove your last element in your array, then you can use the pop method. Remember, you don't need to remember these all functions. It's so easy now. There is ChatGPT, Google, everywhere. You don't need to remember these functions. The purpose is just to show you that you can utilize these capabilities of Python and these list functions. And that is, you don't need to remember that if we use append, it means we need to add some element into array, and if we use pop, it means to remove the last element in our array. So let's say if I print my list, so you can see Islamabad is not there right now. So this is all. So there are many other methods, like if you want to remove some specific, let's say you want to remove this Lahore or Pakistan, then you just need to directly pass. There is a method, let's say dot remove and dot extend. There are many functions. You don't need to remember all these. It's the world of ChatGPT, Google. You can ask anything there. Okay. So if you really want to see, you can easily come here and like Python list functions. You can come here, open any link, any website, they will teach you. You can see that append functions, add an element, clear, remove all elements, copy, count. There is the pop one, and there is the in the pop one you can also pass the specific position also as well. But if you don't pass it any number in between, so it means it is the last element will be removed. So remove function, reverse, if you want to totally reverse your list. So many things. Don't worry to remember these things. You can easily come to ChatGPT and ask, like, let's say how to remove last element in list in Python. Let's say you can ask it. So it's so simple. You can see it is telling that use pop method with giving an example. So later on, once you will learn the machine learning, everything, and the complete AI practical course, so you can utilize ChatGPT capabilities and can foster your productivity. Remember that. So don't remember these things, okay? And just learn the way that how you can utilize Python, how you can utilize their capabilities. That's it, right? So let's jump into the next part, which is like to talk about some list in lists. Let's say list. So it means that you can also create a list in between the lists. This is important concept because you are going to use later on in while developing algorithms, some data pre-processing. This will help. Let's say I created an algorithm, a variable a is equal to, uh, you can say, let's say 1. Okay, previously we were creating a list like that way, 1 4 5 and let's say 45. But you can also create lists in lists. Let's say I just directly put here two brackets, this is one list, and this is another list. Let's say any name John, and you can write here 32 and true. So this is a boolean data type. You can use true, false, something like that. So you can write any number, 44.7, anything. So this is list, and let's say this is the empty list. That's it. So right now I have a three lists. One is this one, and this one up to this, and this is the third empty list. So I have a one global list, but in that list I have another three lists. This concept is called the list in lists. Okay, so simple. So let's say if I run this, and if I want to access this first list, how can I do that? Just think a little bit. You can see that this list is present at the 0 index of the global list, of the outer list, which are our main. And this whole list is present at the 1 index of that list. And this is the second index, and so on. So let's say if I say A, let me first print that. You can directly type A as well, but in, let's say this is our list. If I say that A index 0, what it will do, let's see. Okay, you can see it printed out the complete 0 index from here, and it is telling that this is the output. So if you want to see what is the data type of this, like what is the data type of this 0 index, what is present here, as you know that this is a list, but still you can confirm it. Let's say type of A0. Okay, it's a list, that's true, and this is how it works. And let's say if you want to access this list, how you can do, you think it right, you can just need to type the one index. This is how this will work. Okay, let's talk about, let's say if you want to access 32 in the list, how you can do that. uh, First of all, you need to access this list, this one. Okay, so how we can access that, like this. Okay, okay, now we have this list. Now in that list we have four another indexes, 0, 1, 2 and 3, right? And this is present at the one index, so I can directly open other brackets and type 1, so it will print out for me 32. That's true. And let's say if you want to print out that, you can also do that. Just let's okay, first of all access that list, and then put the index that you want to use in that list, that you want to access. Basically this one I want to access 0, 1, 2, 3, right? 0, 1, 2, 3. That's true. And you also learned that if you want to access the list through reverse order, then you can start from here, -1, -2, -3. You can do that here as well. So if I do -1 here, then it also means the same. That's great. So by the way, let me paste it here so that I need to send you that notebook. Okay, perfect. Okay, that's great. And you learned that, and this is how you can create multiple lists and lists. Even though in that list you can do another list, another list, another list, but don't need to be complex, and things make things so simple. Because once you are going to learn the practical AI course and build some things, and you don't need to go in complex, and also in reality you don't need to. But this is mostly happens sometimes. You have the case that you have some multiple lists in one list. Okay, so this is the concept of list and list, and I think you learned it. And so that's all. And no need to remember anything. ChatGPT is there, Google is there, and you can anytime go to ChatGPT, can ask how to create list and list, what is that, what does that mean. It will going to teach you everything, right? Even though you can go to these W3 schools and can read more about Python list, right? You can go to the Python section, there are the lists they are going to teach. So there are many things they are going to teach, how to remove list items, sort list. I most of the things I told you, which is the important ones, right? So don't make it complex, and don't go beyond that. So this is all. So let's say while developing further algorithms, and in moving the next videos, you are going to learn many things. So let's say if something new will come, then I will teach you at that point directly. Okay, so don't worry that you are not going to learn complete things, complete list, complete functions. So tools are there, ChatGPT is there, everything there. So we can take help them, and we can take help from there, and then put that in our products, and we will quickly build things. So this will really enhance our productivity. And so see you in the next video. And in the next video we're going to talk on the tuples, and I hope you will love them. And so do subscribe the channel, like the video, comment anything that you have in your mind, and see you in the next one. Thank you.